Hello and welcome to the Infographics Show. Hi, welcome to Top 10 with your host, Spiky Boy. Sports cars. Everybody knows them, everybody likes them. Today we're going to talk more about this one. Does this car look familiar to you? Well, it should, because it's one of the world's top-selling sports cars. We're going to discuss some things that you may or may not know about this extremely popular sports car. Audi R8, Ferrari 488, the Lamborghini Huracan, Aventador, Diablo, Countach, Miura. Each of these cars have one thing in common: mid-engine. The 911 is a bit of an outsider in this case. The 911 keeps its engine in the back, not in between the wheelbase like the cars mentioned before. Yes, this is a bit of a strange configuration, but it has its upsides. For one, you get more trunk space in the front, or as I like to call it, frunk space. Okay, because there's less weight hanging over the front axles, the car is less likely to understeer, which improves overall handling.
You can see the front wheels are fully turned, but the car is ploughing straight on. This is called understeer. That's not good. Look at that. Straight off. That's appalling!
And with the engine sitting on the rear wheels, the 911 has extremely fast launch speeds because of the weight pressing down on those thick, wide rear tires. Clearly, this layout has proved successful, as the 911 has been regarded as one of the best handling cars, and that's ignoring the fact that the 911 uses a 6-cylinder horizontally opposed engine, which on paper seems to yield less power than its V8 and V10 rivals. But as the figures show, this is not the case. Many configurations of the 911 boast well over 400 or even 500 horsepower. Oh, and those 0 to 60 times? Yeah, you're looking at under 3 seconds. Thanks to its extremely fast PDK transmission.
It's called a. Is
it German?
Oh, it's a German name, and it's really
God.
complicated. So let me just spell this out. It's a DOPPELKUPPLUNG SGETRIE. That's what it is.
The Nürburgring. You know it, your friends know it, one of the longest and most demanding racetracks.
In the world.
Nicknamed the Green Hell, this track spans a near 26 kilometers, and it's used by manufacturers to help test performance in their sports cars. Can you guess which car holds the record for fastest road legal sports car? Yes, that's right. The Porsche 911 GT2 RS MR, which is a slightly modified version of the standard GT2 RS, with a time of 6 minutes 44 seconds and 7 with a time of 6 minutes 44 seconds. With a time of 6 minutes 44 With a time of 6 minutes 44.749 seconds, the 911 just barely eked out a faster time than the previous record holder, the Lamborghini Murcielago. No, not that one. The other V12 one. The Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, which previously held the record at 6 minutes 44.97 seconds. Other record holders on the Nürburgring for different categories of cars include the Renault Megane RS Trophy R, the Jag Project 8, a personal favorite of mine, 2 different Mercedes AMGs, and the fastest ever recorded time being another one of Porsche's own, a slightly modified version of the Le Mans winning car, the 919 Evo. As with many outrageously expensive, super performance sports cars, the 911 has had multiple limited and special editions hit the market throughout the years. The total number of which I unfortunately would not be able to tell you, because after entire minutes of research, I couldn't find a definitive answer. However, I can tell you that within its over 50-year production, there have been at least 10. A few examples of these limited edition 911s include the Speedster. Another is the also recent 911R, which basically sold all its units before it even started production. Another classic favorite, the extremely rare 911 Turbo LE, which stands for Limited Edition, who would have known, which had only 50 examples built, all of which sold in the UK. And of course the Porsche 964 Carrera 4 Lightweight, which had even less units built. Numbers are around 20 or 22. Not sure which one it is, but I've seen both. The 911 special editions each carry their own history and have tremendous appeal to car collectors around the world.
Please, sir, I want some more. What?
If I were to walk into my closest Porsche dealer, which would take a while because it's the closest one is actually pretty far away, and walk in, tell the salesman that I'm looking for a 911, I'll be presented with a laundry list of options so that I could have mine however I wanted it. Yes, you still have your basic Carrera, Turbo, and GT cars. However, within those three categories, there are many different iterations. In fact, if you include all the submodels of the current if you were to include all the submodels and current special editions, there are about 32 different 911s you could drop your cash on. Speaking of history, who is the genius behind the invention of this wonderful piece of machinery? His name is none other than Ferdinand Porsche, not to be confused with his son Ferdinand Porsche, or his grandson Ferdinand Porsche, or his nephew Ferdinand. Did you know Ferdinand and his son Ferdinand had a hand in the development of the World War II German tank called, you guessed it, the Ferdinand? Okay, I'll stop saying Ferdinand. The duo of father and son were also heavily responsible for the creation of the VW Beetle, the people's car, as Hitler called it. The older of the pair was actually imprisoned by the French after World War II ended for his affiliation with the Nazis. A few years later, they introduced the first production car with a Porsche name badge, the 356, two-piece windshield and all. The Mustang Bullet. The Pontiac Trans Am.
Well, God almighty, would you look at that?
The Dodge Charger. Twice. Chevy Camaro.
What?
Toyota Supra. Aston Martin, anything. These cars are all icons in pop culture. What about the 911? Well, perhaps it never starred in a movie as prominently as the others mentioned. However, it has its own record of appearances in film, and also some name drops in music. Roll the tape.
How was that one?
Bad boy, that's what's up.
He driving through a mall.
Child moved 10 times round the seasons, skated over 10 clear frozen streams. Words like when you're old.
I want all units in the area of the Santa Monica airport to be on the lookout for a black Porsche. Having fun?
That's like to match riding on a horse top. You can't with your Porsche. I've been in the valley. You ain't been off that Porsche.
So although it was never the star of a movie, in the same way that other cars have, it has no shortage of screen time. During my extensive research of this topic, I realized that for my entire life, until I was almost 17 years old, Porsche had an exclusive contract with EA to only feature their cars in said company's games. The contract started in 2000 and officially ended near the end of 2016. Thankfully for me and thousands of other players, Forza Horizon 3, and to a much greater extent, Forza Horizon 4, featured all sorts of Porsches from the sacred 917 to the grocery-getting Macan. And although EA still has rights to use Porsche products in their games, the contract is no longer exclusive, meaning you'll have options when it comes to driving your very own virtual 911. Well, did you learn something new? If you did, that's great. Now you got more random car facts that nobody really cares about. But if you didn't, well, then I'm sorry I wasted your time. That's going to be it from me today. I hope the rest of your day goes well, or your night, or whatever time of day it is, and we'll see you in the next round.